Hey guys, Jay Spencer here, reporting live from the Lexus Nottingham Open on day seven. And I thought, well, it was pretty cloudy actually today, so not the best in terms of visibility for background for the video. So I thought, why not have a beach and wear a nice light blue shirt like I was wearing today for the action, as it was warm, but it was cloudy. And the action didn't definitely didn't disappoint though. And sadly, though, for Britain's Katie Boulter, she was beaten by American McCartney Kessler of United States, who was always going to be a tricky opponent, having beaten the top seed from Brazil, Beatrice Haddad Maia. And in the first set, not a lot went wrong, to be fair, for Boulter. She lost the first set 6-3, just being broken in that one game. And then she took the second set 3-6, looked like she was fighting back and she was starting to get a foothold in the match, starting to hit some better shots and starting to play better. And then in the third set, she was 4-2 up, and it looked as if she was going to seal the deal and get into the semi-finals. Um, but unfortunately, she got broken and surrendered her serve and lost the last four games of the set, and the double break got broken twice. And the final game was particularly sloppy. It was particularly bad to go love 40 down, and she just didn't really seem to have any fight left in her. And it was a shame because talking to some of the stewards there, they thought that she wasn't quite at it this year. They think that she's a bit off form, and they thought that she hasn't been playing quite well for some reason. Even though I actually thought, in my opinion, she was playing well. I thought that she has had some amazing shots, some amazing mental strength, but I think the only difference I think was in the final key moments. She wasn't able to see off her opponents or maybe go that extra way. So she's not playing at her peak, at her best. There's something missing. I don't know what it is, but there's definitely something missing that isn't quite there. She's not got the same um, swagger that she had last year and the year before. But I think it was always inevitable that she was going to lose at some point. If you've got a 12-match winning streak and you've won twice in a row, and a three-peat is always going to be difficult. And all those players in the draw are very, very good players, although some of them may not be as well heard of. To have eight top 50 players in the women's quarterfinals for the first time in an ATP 250, that was always going to be tough. So I don't think that there should be any alarm bells ringing. I think that Katie's done well, and she has to dust herself off now for Wimbledon. And I think that the match against Sunny Gartel was a mammoth match. Maybe the heat affected her in that match. Maybe that affected her going into today. But McCartney Kessler was always a dangerous floater and still is. Still in the draw, obviously in the semi-finals. So I did think to myself an upset could occur here, and obviously so it did. And going to the next match, Magda Linette, quite experienced pole. Just done well here before in Nottingham. I believe it was 10 years ago. I think she got semis or something. But she is, that's when I first actually heard of it. I hadn't heard of it before 10 years ago. And again, it looked like Clara Tauson isn't actually quite comfortable on grass, having not won before on this service going into this tournament, at least in a competitive tournament. And yeah, so Lynette, the pole, um, again, the seedings have been upset here, and as Katie was eighth seed, beaten by McCartney Kessler, unseeded, and the same happened here. Clara Tauson, second seed, was beaten by Magda Linette, so another upset, and as someone lower ranked, um, winning, and it was 6-2, 7-5. But Tauson was absolutely cooking her in the second set. She was 5-2 up, and she imploded and basically lost five games in a row. And she kept shaking her head, she shrugged her shoulders at her support team, and it just epitomized exactly what was going on the court. She completely lost her way, and yeah, she just completely crumbled. No, that's exactly what I said to myself when I was watching this. He's completely crumbled, and that's exactly what happened. Um, and even she didn't understand why or how. So, yes, so you've got Lynette and Kessler into the semis, and um, the other one was the morning match, the first match of the day, which was Leylah Fernandez of Canada against Diana Yastremska. Yastremska looking dangerous on the service and floating through the draw. She won 6-3, 7-6, 10-8. She was, however, serving for the set. Um, I think it was 5-4 and was broken. So it went 5-all, and then it went to the tiebreaker. There was a chance that Fernandez could pull it around and force a third set. Wasn't able to, and Yastremska goes through. And it was quite an emotional on the court interview after the match. Um, and essentially, she was saying that one of the cities in Ukraine got bombed last night, and she was worried for her whole family, so she didn't get much sleep. So, um, quite an emotional time for her, an emotional victory for her. So, um, yeah, so it was good that she was able to come through somehow. And lastly, Rebecca Sramkova again. I had a feeling about her that she's really sneaking through the draw. She might beat Noskova, and she did beat the seventh seed Linda Noskova. So again, an upset just like we had with Yastremska and Fernandez. Fernandez the fifth seed, Yastremska unseeded. Again, four upsets in a row today for all four quarterfinals, and basically Linda Noskova got a fast start, got the break, and took the first set 6-3, but then lost the next two sets 6-4, 6-4. And Sramkova's got a very unique serve. It's a it's quite an interesting serve motion she's got, and she's very good on grass. I think the surface suits her almost in ways where we've seen other grass court players over the years, whether that's Rebecca, um, players like that. They seem to know how to play on the grass, and I think that Sramkova has that. And yeah, it'd be very interesting to see how she does. And actually, the interesting thing is that all eight players had only won a maximum of three titles on the ATP Tour. So Lady Fernandez three, I think it's three Yastremska, three Lynette, three Torsen, two Kessler, three Boulter, one Sramkova, and one Moskova. So Sramkova, I'd say when Moskova didn't have much experience in terms of winning tournaments going into this, and yet Sramkova could well be the Nottingham Open champion. She's only won once before. And then Kessler's only won twice before. Lynette hasn't won many, just three, and Simpson's won just three. So someone's going to be back in the winner's circle on Sunday, and I think it's going to be a morale boosting win, whoever pulls it off. And going into the men's challenger tour now, the little heard of Colton Smith, a lucky loser who benefited from the withdrawals of Luca Nardi and Christopher Eubanks, and he's kind of sneaked his way through the draw. And the 22-year-old came up against Shintaro Mochizuki of Japan, a fellow 22-year-old, and Mochizuki beat him last week in Ilkley in three sets, and actually said after the match that he didn't try to think about that too much. He just wanted to see it as any ordinary match, like it's just another match. And that he did. He crushed it actually 6-2, 6-2 with taking all four break point opportunities. Meanwhile, Smith couldn't take his two break points that he had, taking 0 out of 2. And the interesting thing there is that Mochizuki is a former junior number one back in 2019, 6 years ago, when he was 16 years old. He won Junior Wimbledon singles boys in that same year, 2019, and he considers grass his best surface for that reason. And he's also beaten Carlos Alcaraz in the ITF Junior World Championships. And when he was world number one juniors, he was ahead of Holger Rune and Lorenzo Musetti, who are now obviously top 10 or just outside the top 10 in terms of Runa, but Mercedes top 10, have both become top 10 players. So it's interesting that he's the same generation as them, and it looks like he's in the final now, and he will play Marin Cilic, and I've got a lot of time for Marin Cilic. I've interviewed him 3 years ago for Ubi Tennis, an exclusive interview at Queen's. He's won Queen's before. I think it was um, 2018. He won at Queen's. He got to win the final 2018. Like I said, he won the 2014 US Open at the age of 25, and he's been a former world number three. He's been to the Australian Open final 2018. He's a legendary player in tennis circles and someone who, in the last 20 years, broke the mold of Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, Murray, Wawrinka, and him and Del Potro, Martin Del Potro to win one slam, or dominant team, Daniel Medvedev, yeah, done well to win a slam. And he was able to just scrape past Martin Landaluce of Spain, the 19-year-old, massive generational age difference, 19, Landaluce and Cilic, 36, maybe 37. So 17-year gap is just incredible. And Landaluce took the first set in a tiebreaker, 7-6, 8-6. And Cilic got the break in the second set and held his nerve to take it 6-4. And he was 5-4 up, and he was unable to serve it out. He was broken back. He was broken back, so it was 5-all, and it went into the tiebreaker. And it just looked at being in the tiebreaker like Cilic could lose this after a double fault. And he seemed very nervous, very tense. You could literally sense the anxiety around uh, the court and the players. You could almost slice a knife through butter. It was so much suspense and tense. And but Cilic, he literally came up with some big serves, and you can tell that the serve is his biggest weapon. He has to really concentrate and focus. And when the Katie Boulter match is on at the same time, and you hear all the crowd clapping and roaring, and the commentator and game Boulter, and it's difficult. So it would have been hard for McCartney Kessler to nullify that, but let alone it's hard for Cilic because Cilic is trying to focus on serving bombs, and he did serve some incredible aces, and he served some incredible body serves or big serves when he needed them, and he did. He came through that tiebreak 7-6 and as 9-7, and he saved a match point, and it was just incredible. Landaluce can hold his head up high, played absolutely incredible, played the best he could, but I think for tennis, it's an incredible win because we don't know how long we've got left of Marin Cilic. He's 30, no, 37. Maybe he's got another year, maybe another 2 years. Maybe this is the last of the time he plays in Nottingham. He did play back in 2008. You know, all that time ago, 17 years ago when he was, um, you know, 19, 20. So I think it's a great, great story. He almost has mentioned before he wants to mimic Andy Murray and take this Challenger Tour seriously and try and build momentum by winning them. So Andy Murray did win Surbiton and this event, Nottingham Open, 2 years ago in 2023, and I think Cilic wants to follow in his footsteps and do the same. So, yeah, I think it'll be incredible if Cilic does win on Sunday against Mochizuki, but Mochizuki is good on grass, and also Cilic could put a lot of pressure on himself and end up losing the final just because he just wants to win that desperately, and hopefully he does, and hopefully he sees it as a free hit that he's had these injury problems this last year or so, and just to be in the final is a massive achievement. So he's playing with the house money really, and hopefully he's able to show his grass court pedigree and get a title because I think in the twilight years of his career near the end, he deserves that. I think, and yeah, it's great to see him winning, and it'd be nice if we could talk to him tomorrow. I'm not sure whether he's going to do press. I'm not sure if he's going to win, but if we do get to speak to him, it'll be really nice too because he's a very humble chap. He's very intelligent, very articulate, very smart, and you know, I think he's a good champion of the sport, and I think he's someone in the winner's circle that the sport has been lucky to have had. So yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you for listening. It's been another great episode and another great recap review of the day's play. And as always, you can follow me on Instagram for live updates, James Fed7, or you can follow me, James Spencer Journalist. on Facebook or LinkedIn. You got me on YouTube here, James Spencer Official 22, and also got me on SoundCloud, James Spencer 5000. So thank you so much for listening, guys, and hope you enjoy the rest of the night. Goodbye.